Hi, I'm Greg Hill, once again returning guest critic on RealScreenReviews.com, and I'm here with my good friend Nick Yakabuchi to break down the top 5 best movies of 2010. Nick, thank you so much for having me.
Greg, always a pleasure having you here, and I'm glad to have you here to count down the top 5 best films of the year. And the way that we're going to do this is not in any kind of an original way. I have Greg's top 5 picks, which I'll open his and we'll discuss his picks, and then he'll vice versa do that with me. But I think before we even get to the top 5, we have some honorable mentions to lead us into how we think this is going to hash out. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start with mine?
Just a couple films that I saw that were really good. Again, not best films of the year, but, you know, above average experiences for the theater. Book of Eli, number 1, very good movie.
Yeah.
The A-Team.
Like the A-Team a lot?
Like the A-Team a lot, too. We disagreed on this one, but Resident Evil Apocalypse.
We really disagreed on that one. We don't disagree too much. Well, some of mine, while you're contemplating, a couple I came up with was Inception, barely missed the top 5 for me. The Town, we have another poster over there of a movie I thoroughly enjoyed. I also liked a foreign film that has become an international success called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It opened in the United States technically last year, but I think it opened 2 years ago overseas. But seeing it opened last year, and I saw it last year, I'm going to include it on my best of the year or honorable mention for the best of the year. Also, I have Easy A and Morning Glory with Rachel McAdams and Harrison Ford. 2 wonderful films, I thought. Do you want to just get to it?
Let's just get to it. Let's get going.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with Greg's number 5 best pick. Now, I will tell you that these envelopes have been securely in the hands of Price Waterhouse. Those are the same people that go over and secure the Academy Awards. So, you know, we're not holding anything back. We're getting the best we can. So, yep. Greg's top 5 number pick is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm actually kind of shocked about that. Greg?
It is kind of a shocking pick. I know it might not be a popular pick, but the reason I went with that, I myself, I'm not really a fan of the horror genre, and
I'm not either.
I have seen the original and am familiar with it pretty well. And when I heard that they were coming out with a remake, they did something that no other horror franchise can do. They got me interested, and they got me to go and spend my money at the theater to go see this alone.
Well, that means you must have really wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I unfortunately am going to disagree with them on this one. I actually thought that the movie could have been better, and I'm going to attribute that to I grew up in the 80s with the original Freddy Krueger and the original franchise, and I just didn't think that it measured up. But hey, you know, that's why we have 2 different opinions on the show, isn't it? So, you want to get the mine there?
Nick's number 5 best movie of 2010, protected by Price Waterhouse Cooper, is The Fighter.
The Fighter, with Marky Mark and Christian Bale and Amy Adams and Melissa Leo from director David O. Russell. The top 5 movies, I'm going to tell you right now, I was still debating switching them around in 5, 4, 3, 2 envelopes. I already had one picked out. It's a very, very tough top 5, but I'll tell you, The Fighter is a fantastic drama with Academy Award caliber performances from Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. And as of this moment, I'm going to tell everybody they can just give the Academy Award for supporting actor to Christian Bale, because I have not seen a performance that mesmerizing in the last 2, 3, 4 years as I did him playing ex-fighter Dick Eklund. So.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen this one yet, but everything that I've heard about this movie has been very complimentary. Really, no complaints about it. You know, as you said,
right.
Powerhouse performances all around. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
And I think we're going to run into this in this episode and as well in the worst episode, because I think there's going to be movies that I've seen that he hasn't and vice versa. So with that, we'll get right to Greg's number 4 best pick of 2010. And that comes out to be Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey.
I know I'm really making friends with you here, because this is another one that I know you didn't like from 2010. But I really liked it. I thought Steve Carell and Tina Fey were very funny together on screen. I liked everything that they did. I thought it was written very funny. I thought it was well performed, and plus all the cameo performances in it from everyone. It was just a fun movie.
Yeah, Sean and I really had a good bout. The only thing missing for that one, we were almost turned into The Fighter with the boxing gloves. We disagreed so much. But no, I mean, I do like Steve Carell and I do like Tina Fey. I just thought that maybe my expectations were a little higher than what they delivered. But nonetheless, if you're looking for a fun night, that's definitely a good movie to pick. So
again, that's why there's 2 opinions on this show sometimes. So
absolutely. That's why nobody's wrong either.
After tonight, we don't know. But and Nick's Number 4 best movie of 2010 is Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3. This is, without question, at the time that I saw this movie in June, this was the best film that I had seen all year. This is just a phenomenal and fantastic movie. I can't think of a better way to end this franchise. It was just a wonderful story, and I can't think of another movie that had me laughing in the aisles and tearing up in the same 5 minutes. It was just a great, great film, and I think even though it's animated, doesn't matter. It is absolutely, without question, one of the year's best films, no matter what age you are.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm 24 years old, and when I saw this at the theaters, again, I can't think of another movie that had me rolling in the aisles and then sobbing like a baby in the last couple minutes of it. I saw it twice, had the same reaction both times. Just Pixar delivers gold once again.
I'll tell you, I said this, I think, in the review. They have this uncanny ability to make a product that literally appeals to everyone. Whether you're a man, a woman, whether you're 80 years old or whether you're 3 years old, you will be entertained by this masterpiece, and just a grand slam home run. Fantastic way to end the franchise.
Oh, yes.
All right, we'll get right back to Greg's number 3 pick for the best film is The Expendables. A highly, highly entertaining film.
Yes, and I think all of you can see that I don't really get to see a lot of movies. Again, there's some movies on here that, some people wouldn't think of, but it really was very entertaining. One of the best movies that I personally saw over the course of the year, and it was just, I think I said in the review, it was very refreshing to see an action movie that wasn't like a video game where everything was CGI.
Yeah.
And Stallone delivers again.
I love The Expendables. I thought it was a great movie. I love Statham. I think Statham has got to be Sylvester Stallone Jr., I think. I mean, they worked really well together. I had a lot of fun watching them have fun on screen. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed The Expendables. I thought it was just a truly, truly well entertaining movie. Well worth the price of admission and well worth the second view. I've actually watched it a couple times on home video. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna not say it's true because it's absolutely true. So
okay, and moving right along to Nick's number 3 best movie of 2010. Black Swan.
The Black Swan. I just saw The Black Swan actually last Friday, and this is just one fantastic masterpiece from filmmaker Darren Aronofsky. You have Natalie Portman in the lead, and she is the lead ballerina in a stage production of the show Swan Lake. And it's a show within the movie, and fantastic performances straight across the board. Mila Kunis as the nemesis to Natalie Portman was fantastic. Vincent Cassel was fantastic as the director in the movie. And you have the best performance from Barbara Hershey in 20 years as Natalie Portman's mother. A tight thriller. I think I said in the review, I never would have thought that somebody could have crafted an extremely tight thriller out of a ballet. But man, I couldn't be more wrong. It was just a fantastic movie. It is an art house film, so it's very kind of weird and freaky, but what a tremendous thriller. It was just a fantastic film.
This is another one that I also haven't seen yet.
It did open in limited release, and it just got opened up to about 1,100 theaters last Friday, so it's not playing in wide release. But I will tell you, as a plug, to do whatever you can to see it. If you're into well above average movies, you're into art house films, you're going to really like this.
Okay, I did really look forward to seeing this one. Everything that I've heard about it again is very top shelf, just powerhouse all the way through. Directing, cast, performances.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Well, all right, we're going to get right down to, we're already down to Greg's number 2. Number 2, best film of the year, Toy Story 3. How about that?
We have similar taste.
Finally.
Yeah. Again, I think Nick summed it up great. It's a great way for Pixar to end this franchise. I had a special connection with this movie. I was around Andy's age when the first movie came out, and it was special because Toy Story was the first ever computer animated feature. Mm-hmm. So, and I always felt like I grew up with Andy. So watching this movie, it was a special experience.
Now, I've always said when I was describing Toy Story 2 that it was just as original as the original, and Toy Story 3 is absolutely no different. Most of the time when somebody makes a sequel, it just doesn't measure up. It's nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as funny. It's nowhere near as original. Toy Story 2 built on Toy Story, and Toy Story 3 built on Toy Story 2, and they did nothing but raise the bar. And with the addition of the 3D special effects, I was just totally blown away. Once again, I think I was torn between making it number 2 and number 3. I mean, you have to end up picking, but it was just a fantastic film.
And just one last thing. Toy Story 3 was one of those rare franchises that kept every single cast member from the original in all of the movies, with the exception of
Jim Varney,
who unfortunately passed away.
Right.
But it's very rare to see that in movies. Usually when they have success with something, they want to change it up, and it's why they don't measure up. But
and I think you hit a very strong point. I think it's because they didn't mess with the original idea, and because they didn't mess with these lovable characters, that's why I think it continues to be the worldwide phenomenon and success that it has become.
Mm-hmm. All right, and moving on to Nick's number 2 best film.
These were really tough to pick out.
Of 2010 is The Kids Are All Right.
The Kids Are All Right is a movie, a drama, that this is my one mistake in the year. I gave that movie 3.5 stars back in June, and I could really kick myself because this is a 4-star movie. If I had a chance to go back and change things, it's, let me see if Julianne Moore and Annette Bening are a lesbian couple that have been inseminated years ago, and they have teenage children. And the thing that is so brilliant about this film is they are a gay couple, but that is never brought up in the film. They are a dysfunctional family that deals with real problems and real issues with their children and themselves, and them being gay has absolutely nothing to do with it. Greg and I are very popular in the Erie theater community, and we have a lot of gay friends. And you know what? It's refreshing to go see a film about gay characters and have that be nowhere near involved in the plot. It's just these were 2 mothers and their children and the problems that ensue. Star-making performance from Mark Ruffalo. Mia Wasikowski, who went on to be Alice from Alice in Wonderland, was one of the children. Just a fantastic story, a fantastic family drama that puts this huge original spin on it. And I just couldn't have been more satisfied when I left the theater. It was just a great, great time at the movies.
Mm-hmm. Again, another movie that I haven't seen, but I think I remember you telling me about it. We were looking at movies at Best Buy, I believe, and you saw that one, and you told me that I really should make an effort to watch that one because
it was just a great movie.
Is just a great movie.
It is a great movie. So if you have that one, I do believe we saw it at Best Buy. It is on video, so if you have a chance, I would tell you to pick up and watch The Kids Are All Right. All right. Now, there is no drum roll because we don't have a drummer.
All right, that's the best it gets.
But Greg's countdown to the number 1 best film of the year is Inception. I can't disagree.
Yeah, and I think you said it earlier. It was one of your honorable mentions.
Absolutely.
This was definitely, hands down, the best movie that I saw in 2010. Christopher Nolan, once again, blows me away with his originality.
What a storyteller.
And all the cast in it is phenomenal, from Leonardo DiCaprio
to Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Ken Watanabe, Marion Cotillard. I mean, you can just go on and on. I mean, the cast is solid, the story is solid, the direction is solid.
The story is so solid that I actually had to rewatch it on DVD. And I'm not going to lie, when I watched it at the theater, it was very good. I loved it. I didn't understand it completely with you have one dream and then layered on another dream and layered on another dream. I must admit, sometimes I was a little confused here and there. Kind of like when I saw the original Matrix back in '97, whenever that came out. It's a very complex story, but it just goes to show you how smart the filmmakers are, that they could piece something like this together, that they could intertwine and interweave these very complex stories and very complex characters. But I'll tell you, after watching it a second time, it's very, very understandable. It wasn't hard to follow at all. I think it's just extremely well made. And give it up to Leonardo DiCaprio. Does this guy make bad movies?
I don't think he's made a bad movie yet.
No, I mean, he really has he really just makes really credible films. And once again, I can't agree with you more than Christopher Nolan. You know, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Memento. I mean, this guy has got to be just one of the greatest storytellers. He just really knows how to never give the audience too much information that they need at any one point. And I think because he does that, he always keeps the audience interested in what they're watching. If only more people would follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, and he's one director. He always leaves me wondering, it's like, oh, wow, he's done this. What can he possibly do next?
And he always one-ups himself.
Yes, he does. Yep. He's phenomenal.
Yep. Well, we'll get down to my number 1 pick of the year. And this was the one pick I I didn't even have to think twice. I knew exactly what the best film of the year was.
And Nick's number one film of the year is The Social Network.
The Social Network, and the story of the origin of Facebook has to be the fastest 2 hours of this past year. Give it up to Jesse Eisenberg and as a great turn as a Facebook creator and CEO Mark Zuckerberg. And as much as I must compliment Jesse Eisenberg, I must also compliment Justin Timberlake, and I must compliment Aaron Sorkin, the screenwriter. He's a playwright. He wrote the play A Few Good Men, and he wrote the screenplay for that same film. He created the TV show The West Wing, but his dialogue is just amazing, and it's as sharp as a tack. Every sentence that's spoken is just delivered in almost like in a firing squad. I mean, it's bing, 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 and it was just relentless as it was interesting and intriguing, and it was just a fascinating tale to be told. And considering how popular Facebook is among everyone that I know, I never would have thought that such a credible and interesting story could have been crafted around such a tool that is used by everyone that I know, including my own mom. So it was really just a fascinating tale. Did you get a chance to see that one?
I didn't get a chance to see that one. I know it's still playing in one of the theaters around here, so if I want to go and see it.
It got a re-release push because of all the Golden Globe nominations and all the awards that it's already garnered.
So I probably will go and check this one out because everything I've heard about this one from people that have seen it and everything that I've read about it is very good. I really like Jesse Eisenberg. The first movie I saw him in was Zombieland, which is also a very entertaining movie. He's very good in that. And I always kind of put him in the same boat as Michael Cera.
Absolutely. And Tobey Maguire.
And I think he's head and shoulders above Michael Cera. I'm not a big fan of Michael Cera.
I agree totally.
And he's right pretty much even with Tobey Maguire. He's a very good actor.
And I'll tell you another thing. I think as well as Zombieland, as well as The Social Network, he really could have came off as a dork. He really could have came off as a nerd, but he doesn't. He's a very likable kid. He's a very likable actor, and very credible on top of that. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen The Social Network, guys, obviously my number one choice is the best film of 2010. I tell you, it's a must-see. You should absolutely give it a shot and give it the 2 hours that it runs, because not only will you learn something interesting, you'll be entertained for 120 minutes.
Well, I think we're at the end.
I think we're out of envelopes, so I guess we're going to say thank you for joining us and counting down the top 10, 5 sort of movies, best movies of the year of 2010. And Greg, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for putting up with my list and my craziness once again.
That's okay. And Greg, we'll be back shortly just to review the flip side of the coin, and we're going to go with the worst films of the year. And remember, people, until then, we're not always right, but only when it comes to the movies.
Thank you for your attention.